Welcome everyone. In today's video, I just wanted to do a tier list ranking the layer 1 smart contract blockchains. So I'll be judging them on a bunch of subjective criteria as well as my own experiences. So there is a link in the description down below of this video where I give you access to this tier list. So if you want to play around with it, it's there for you. I haven't included every single, layer 1 smart contract blockchain out there because there are just too many. I just know that basically if it's not in this video, it's probably not worth talking about, but I am open to suggestions. Also remember that this video is for fun and purely just my opinion. If you disagree with my rankings, let me know down below. So before we get into it, I just wanted to explain some of the tiers that I have going on here, and we'll start from the top and work our way down. I'll give you some criteria as to exactly how a smart contract blockchain will actually get into this tier list and what qualities it might possess. So S tier, which is what I've named God tier. So this is reserved for the most innovative, most decentralized, most secure, and most scalable layer 1 smart contract blockchains with clear value accrual methods. And then we go to A tier, so this is the good chains. So they're on their path to becoming a God tier chain, or they might have something special about them that puts them above everyone else. There could be decent value accrual, but they might not be as innovative or decentralized as the God tier chains. And then the next tier below that, which is B tier, so these are the decent chains. So they're trying to make something work. They're not particularly ahead in any one category. They may have some tailwinds, which may let them climb the tier list in the future as well. But for right now, they're not particularly impressive and they'll sit in the decent chain tier. Below that, we have C tier, so going nowhere. These chains are often legacy chains going live on mainnet in 2018 or 2019 time, and they haven't done much since. They might also be DeFi focused chains, but they will never get institutional sort of adoption because they are not sufficiently decentralized or secure. These chains might also have been ranked higher, but they've been hit with an unforeseen event, perhaps a hack, so on and so forth. They might also have good tech, but absolutely no one cares because it's not a 10x improvement of what we already see within the ecosystem. Additionally, the foundation running the chain, they might be a bunch of chumps. And so that really does affect, its rankings here. And then the D tier is basically a scam / pointless. So these chains are typically so centralized a single entity can take control of the chain, or they might have suffered a couple of attacks in the past as well. These chains might have promised infinite scalability in the past or failed to deliver anything at all of significance. And if we're being totally honest here, if you're holding any of these tokens, you are exit liquidity. And so let's get into this. I have 33 layer 1 smart contract blockchains to rank, and we're just going to start as they appear on this list. And so the first one we're going to be talking about today is Acala. So I'm going to put this in C tier, going nowhere. So basically, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there was a massive hack of Acala's stablecoin, and that absolutely just wiped out the ecosystem there as well. I'm sure there are still people surviving. However, that just didn't look great for the chain, as a whole. Additionally, I believe that DeFi focused chains are really going to struggle in the future. There's a reason why the heart of DeFi is on Ethereum, and it's because it's the most battle tested. And so it's really going to take a lot of time before anything like Acala or any of the other DeFi focused chains are actually really going to do anything, right? Also, no one really uses Polkadot. I mean, if you just look at the TVL for any of these chains, I mean, you'll see for yourself. I've never, got a Polkadot wallet, and I really don't see the need to, and I probably won't for a while. And so that's why I'm placing this in C tier. The next one is going to be Cardano, and we're going to place it in, the decent tier. So Cardano is the largest proof of stake layer 1 smart contract blockchain. It's quite impressive, very decentralized. However, it's really held back by its focus on academic rigor and like peer reviewing everything. Basically, this peer review process has meant that nothing has gotten done in the Cardano ecosystem like since the launch. I mean, it took 5 years for smart contracts to become a thing, and then when they launched, there wasn't really enough tooling out there for developers to actually make anything. And so you are seeing a few dApps out there on Cardano right now, but they have very little amount of TVL. And I think it is a nightmare to actually use Cardano DeFi. Also, your hopes and dreams rest on this man's shoulders, which I just think is hilarious. But yeah, I think Cardano is actually cool, and they are working on scaling the blockchain. And, you know, if they're successful, this could push them forwards a lot. And so I am optimistic about the future of Cardano. However, it's a little bit too slow for me. The academic rigor, as I said below, it's really holding it back. And, you know, we'll see. This could move up the tier list in the future as well. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Algorand. So Algorand is a strong C tier token. So this is a legacy chain. It's been around for a while, but basically they've done nothing. It's not going to go into basically a scam or pointless, because they are trying to do stuff, right? There's legit VCs out there funding stuff happening on Algorand. I've heard a lot about them being used for central bank digital currencies, but from my understanding, all that they're doing there is just copying the blockchain and then not really actually accruing any value to the Algorand token itself. And the token price is like not been great. I mean, if you look at this against Ethereum, you would have been very sad holding Algorand, and that's why I'm going to place it in the C tier for now. The next one is Cosmos. I'm really going to be talking about Atom, the token. I know that it's got like a gigantic ecosystem behind it of different blockchains as well. So the ecosystem is cool. App chains are cool. Interchain security is going to be big. It's coming soon, and there is going to be clear value accrual for the token. And that's one thing that it's missed for a while, is that there has been no value accrual. And so this is another one of those coins that is very heavy, meaning that in a bull market it doesn't really rally that much, and then in a bear market it falls the same as everyone else. And so this coin has been a serial underperformer, but this might change in the future, you know. But also my understanding is that basically as more consumer chains come online that rely on interchain security, the less secure it actually becomes. And so I'm not sure that that's, you know, a great thing. But I could be wrong on this. You know, I'm not well researched into the Cosmos ecosystem, and maybe that's something that I should change. But you know, it's going to stay here at you know, good chain tier for right now. And the next one we're going to be talking about is Binance Smart Chain. So I wanted to put it in D, basically a scam / pointless, because that's what I think it is, but it is actually seeing a lot of usage. So I'm just going to put it here in going nowhere. So basically BSC is probably going to be the most centralized chain that I'm going to be talking about today. And it's inferior to all of the other EVM copycat chains as well. And so, you know, it's still more expensive. It's still slower than all of these other chains. The scaling roadmap is embarrassing as well. I've heard multiple reports of basically this thing is going to collapse at some point in the future. Basically, DeFi is never going to happen here because it's too centralized. All the games that I've seen launch on Binance Smart Chain, well, 99% of them have been scam cash grabs. And the only good thing about this is that it got a lot of people into crypto, actually, because it was cheaper to use than Ethereum. And also it has Binance backing it, so it will probably always have users until it collapses. But I'm going to put it in going nowhere, as in it's not going to be significant within the next sort of 5 to 10 year time range. Now we're going to talk about Bitcoin SV. So I know this says Bitcoin, but it is Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, and that's going into the solid, basically a scam / pointless tier. I mean, I don't know if I have to do too much explanation here, but you know, BSV has gaming. There are people actually trying to do gaming stuff with BSV. Basically, the whole chain itself is a joke. But this is another coin that, you know, the price has been, you know, doomed forever, and I don't really see it going anywhere in the future as well. And so, you know what, I'm just going to ignore it for now. So the next one we're going to talk about is Chronos. And so this is the crypto.com chain. So basically they saw what Binance Smart Chain was doing and how successful it had become, how many users it had, and how rich it was making a lot of people. And they decided to make their own chain. hasn't really seen much adoption. I think it had like a bill in DeFi TVL, but if I'm, you know, being honest with you, I think that was just people PvPing each other, like ETH whales coming in, Avalanche whales coming in, like just DeFi farmers coming in to just like rinse the ecosystem. And I haven't seen much legit being built on Chronos, and I don't think there will be anything legit built there in the future as well, and that's why it stays in the C tier. Now let's talk about Polkadot. And so I'm gonna put it in B tier for now, because like, okay, they have cool tech, right? They've really cool tech, and you know, it has the potential for adoption in the future. But basically, like, I'm not a big fan of parachains. They really are too much effort for anyone to actually bother with, really. I don't think gaming is going to come to Polkadot, because they have to set up the parachain auction system, and it's too much to deal with for a gaming company. And basically not a lot of DeFi has come to Polkadot yet. So my thesis is that DeFi is still going to be around. It'll get bigger in the future, but the biggest verticals, the next 0 to 1 moment within crypto that we're going to see is going to be in the social movement, as well as the gaming movement as well. And that's why I don't think Polkadot is going to have that bright of a future. And if you know anything about the Web3 Foundation, you know that they're in shambles. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is Elrond, and I'm going to be honest, I actually don't know much about Elrond, and so I'm just going to put it in the decent tier for right now. I'll have to do more research on it in the future, but I haven't really got much positive or negative to say about it, so I'm just going to put it here. The next one we're going to talk about is Ethereum Classic, and that's an easy D tier placement. It's been attacked multiple times, but it is the canonical Ethereum chain, and we might see some usage for it in the future when you know, Ethereum moves to proof of stake and people still want to use a proof of work network. Then they can use Ethereum Classic, but no one's really working there. I have seen some DeFi and some NFT stuff pop up, but that's people just like doing it for the memes, or they just want to just go there, be early, and just in case this thing takes off, you know, they have a protocol there, right? They might get rich off of it. And now onto Ethereum, and so this is the only god tier placement that we're going to have today. It's easily an S tier. The most decentralized, the most secure out of all of the layer 1 smart contract blockchains, and they have the best roadmap for scalability in the future. The heart of DeFi is going to stay on Ethereum because it's the most battle tested. We're also all going to be transacting on layer 2s in the future. You might not see it right now, but it is going to happen. The next one is Flow, and so Flow is going to go into going nowhere. I mean, it is pointless, but it's not a scam. I just think it's not going anywhere in the future, so I'm just going to place it in the C tier. This is another centralized VC chain. No one really uses it. It has some NFT stuff there. Their biggest thing for Flow, the biggest thing that it had going was NBA Top Shot, and that's been dead for a year and a half. And so I don't think anyone has actually used the chain in the past couple of months, and so that's why I'm just going to keep it in C tier, and I don't really seeing it having a path forward either. Now this one is going to be controversial, and I'm going to put Phantom on C. Now I put it here because I don't really see a path forward for it. Its biggest DeFi builder left. Andre, he left earlier this year, and he was the reason why people were really using Phantom, if we're being honest, right? I don't really see DeFi returning here in a big way unless Andre comes back, and I don't think any gaming or social projects are coming to Phantom either, and so that's why you know, I don't really see a path forward for it, and so for right now it's staying in C tier. And now let's move on to our next centralized exchange blockchain, and this is the Huobi Ecosystem chain. So this is the Heco chain, HECO. Basically, they saw what Binance did. You know, this the same as the Chronos chain, so they decided to make their own chain. No one's using it, no one will ever use it, so it's going to stay in C tier. Next is Internet Computer, or Definity, depending on when you came into crypto. So Internet Computer, oh man, it has the worst chart in the history of layer 1 smart contract chains. Look at this. Look at this. It used to be a $700 coin. Now it's sitting at $6. It doesn't show the $700 here, but I think it did trade there at some point on one of the exchanges, but it's been down only ever since. And basically the only people who have made money holding Internet Computer were the seed investors and the private sale investors, and they all dumped. This is the dump, right? They got in on, you know, huge multiples, and they dumped on everyone. I mean, it's still sitting at a $1.5 billion market cap. Does it really deserve it? Probably not. They do have some gaming stuff coming up. There's some interesting stuff that you can do with Internet Computer, like gasless transactions. However, the DeFi ecosystem there is god awful. Now let's go on to Kucoin Chain. Again, this is the same as Huobi Ecosystem, Chronos Chain, Binance Smart Chain. It's just a centralized exchange tried to build their own chain. I think it burnt out very quickly. Everything that was launched on there was basically rug pulls. It was like Binance Smart Chain, but 10 times more degenerate. And I don't think anyone uses it now. I don't think I've ever spoken to anyone who's ever used it anyway, and you know, it's really going nowhere, so it's going to stay in C tier. The next one we're going to be ranking is Kadena. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly, but it's going to go into the C tier. Basically, this is another you know, ultra fast, ultra cheap proof of work blockchain, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about, right? Is that a lot of these cheap and fast chains, they've actually doomed themselves by being cheap and fast on the layer 1, and that's because they're never going to accrue any significant value for the token itself. The reason why Ethereum has god tier tokenomics is because it's expensive to transact on layer 1, and that means a lot of fees are burned, and that pushes Ethereum into the sort of deflationary mode. So I think if gas is above like 7 Gwei, then Ethereum is going to constantly be deflationary. Now, it's not going to be deflationary for most of the time. I think a lot of people are going to move to layer 2s, and basically the market is going to swing like a pendulum, where I have periods of deflation and then periods of inflation as well, and that's just going to depend on the economic activity of the chain. But that's, you know, why I'm bearish a lot of these you know, faster and cheaper chains. But also, this particular chain is actually proof of work. And that means constant sell pressure from miners, and we know that proof of stake coins like Turbo Pump, and they do a lot better than basically everything else, and so it's good for tokenomics. However, you know, I can see the advantages of proof of work. It means that the coins are more fairly distributed. I haven't really seen or heard anything going on with this chain, and so for right now, I'm just going to put it in the C tier. And the next chain I'm going to be ranking is Klaytn. So I'm going to put this in the D tier. Now, this isn't a chain that a lot of you people are actually going to know about, and that's mainly because it caters towards the South Korean market. And they're really focusing on gaming, and lots of games are actually going to go to Klaytn. For example, I think DeFi Kingdoms is leaving Harmony and they're going to Klaytn. And I've seen a lot more games actually start moving towards that chain. And, you know, as I said before, one of my thesis is that gaming, social, and the metaverse is going to be a lot bigger in the future, and so Klaytn is sort of in position to actually take advantage of that. Now, one thing to note about the South Korean gaming market is basically the government has banned all blockchain games there. Now, that is a restriction that might be lifted in the future. It might not be. If it's, you know, never lifted, then we can put Klaytn in the C tier. But there is still hopes out there, and I think it will still happen. And so, you know, we'll place it in B tier, decent for right now. The next one is Luna Classic. Now, Luna Classic used to be like a really high tier coin for myself. You know, I made a lot of money on it. I didn't hold it the entire way up until I think like, you know, $100. But I know a lot of people lost money on the way down, and it had really good value accrual. The more that the UST stablecoin was used, the more Luna was burnt, and, you know, the basic laws of supply and demand dictate that that coin would then start turbo pumping. However, you know, it worked the same way on the way down. The more the UST came off peg, the more Luna was printed, and eventually, you know, the chain collapsed. The chain had to be halted, and basically right now, I don't know why anyone's actually using Luna Classic. It seems to be a dead chain, and I think we can, you know, forget about this in the foreseeable future. And I'm thinking the same thing about the new Luna chain as well. Basically, if you're holding this, you are exit liquidity for the people who whose tokens are vesting out over the next couple years, and they're going to look to dump as soon as possible. And the next one is Polygon, and we're going to make that you know, an A tier chain. It's a good chain. So technically this is a side chain. I'm going to place it in the layer one smart contract blockchain tier list, because I think it's still its separate own layer one. It's technically not a layer two, and the Polygon team are very much Ethereum aligned. It still sees a lot of usage. It's fast, it's cheap, it's superior to a lot of the other EVM clones out there. And one thing that I can say about the Polygon team is that they're excellent on business development. They have everyone and their mother going ahead and actually building on Polygon, and they help with investments, technical support, as well as marketing as well. And that's actual tangible results that they can bring towards a lot of these projects. And so they are attracting a lot of gaming projects as well. If you're even thinking about developing a blockchain game, Polygon is already reaching out. And so that's why they're in the A tier. They're also building out a lot of ZK rollup solutions, as well as data availability chains as well. And so I'm super excited about what they're going to be able to do. Polygon supernets are also a thing, so that's similar to Avalanche subnets. And so pretty exciting front. Clever guys on the team. There is a bit of consideration around the fact that the Polygon bridge is quite centralized. It's on a multi-sig, and most of the multi-sigs are people from the team, and so that is a concerning factor. I doubt they would rug, but it's not exactly decentralized on that front. And this one is either Moonbeam or Moon River. Either way, I'd probably both place them in the C tier, similar to Acala. It's a DeFi focused, parachain, EVM compatible. I think they also got wrecked when the Nomad bridge got hacked, and they had a lot of Nomad assets there. And I think the ecosystem is in shambles right now, and I don't know if anyone has in particular come in to actually plug that hole. And so I think the chain has died pretty much, and I don't see a lot of people using it in the future either. Now, Near is something that I've spoken bullishly on before. However, I'm going to change my mind because I've learned a lot about Near since then, and I'm going to place it in the going nowhere tier. Sure, they have cool tech. Sure, they have good developers working there as well. However, just no one was using the chain. There is really no reason to. It doesn't offer a 10x improvement over any of the other chains. It's not EVM compatible. They haven't got the sort of the developer ecosystem that say Solana has, as well as the foundation at Near being very sad. And when I hear about the Near foundation, it actually just makes me very sad. And so I'm just going to put it going nowhere for now. This has the potential to move into the decent tier in the future, but I don't really see too much going on. Now this is Neo. Neo was meant to be the Chinese Ethereum, I think. Super scalable, super cheap, been around since 2017, but it's actually delivered nothing ever. And I think it's been largely abandoned. So it is basically a scam / pointless. If you're holding this coin, you're either going to lose money in dollar terms, or you're going to lose money in ETH terms. Now the next one is Harmony. Now Harmony was an interesting chain for a while, later last year. However, it's been hit with a lot of setbacks. DeFi kingdoms basically imploded. The Harmony bridge as well got stolen. I think that was 100 mil that was just taken, and no one's come in to actually step up and fill that gap. And so a lot of projects have started abandoning Harmony. I mean, DeFi Kingdoms has gone to Klaytn. A lot of the other teams that were going to build on Harmony have gone elsewhere as well. And the foundation is in a shambles, and I just don't really see any reason to build on Harmony versus anywhere else. I mean, why not just go ahead and build on Polygon, where they're actually going to give you support, where they haven't been hacked. It just doesn't make any sense for me. And then I'm just going to put Secret Network here in C going nowhere as well, because this is a privacy focused chain, and I'm not super stoked about this. I think that the regulators are going to come down hard on anything privacy related, and I think privacy is, it's a human right, we should all have it. But I think if you're in the first world country, and basically you don't need to worry about stuff like that for now, and it's just going to make it harder, off-ramping from centralized exchanges if you use networks like Secret Network, right? Anything that can be a token mixer, it's kind of tricky, and so I would avoid this for now. Now let's talk about Solana. So I'm going to put this in the B tier for decent. Now, I know you guys know that I've been very much focused on Solana for a long time. However, you know, there are some glaring issues there, and also some super positive things as well that keep it from sliding any further. But let's just get into some of the issues of Solana. So it's gone down far too many times. I think it's had like 5 times where like the network has been completely unusable, and that is just unacceptable. You know, if you want any sort of DeFi to exist, it needs to be reliable. Basically, no institution ever, well, is really going to touch Solana because it's had too much history of downtime, and it's too much risk for institutional managers to take. Now, it's still going to be useful for like options and perps, like all of those, you know, like Drift or Katana or something like that. That would be cool, and to actually still use Solana for. However, what Solana is really going to be big for in the future is going to be like gaming and NFTs. We've seen that the NFT community on Solana has been second to none, as well as lots of gaming projects coming here as well, like Aurora, Star Atlas, Nine Heroes, and there's more and more on the way as well. Like lots of teams want to actually go ahead and build on Solana. And another positive about Solana is that the developer ecosystem is amazing. It is all organic and grown through all of the different hackathons and hacker houses that they've arranged around the world, and they have a really great community there, and so that's why I'm going to put it in the B tier. Now let's talk about Tron. So Tron, I mean, it basically is a scam. Like Justin Sun, he just stole everything from other people. It's terrible. If you ever look at the white paper from Tron, it's like it's pieced together from various different other white papers as well. And the chain is so centralized that Binance could basically take control right now. But we'll put it in C in going nowhere because people actually use it for a lot of like stablecoin transfers. I don't know why they would want to use Tron. Like, why not use Solana? I think Solana USDC is like cheaper to transact on than Tron USDT. But we'll keep it here anyway. And now let's go on to Waves. So Waves is a really weird one. They've been chugging along for years, not really doing much, and then they developed some DeFi, then they had their own stablecoin, and then I think like Sasha Ivanov, whoever the lead guy of Waves was, started rugging everyone. And so I'm just going to put this in basically a scam, would never touch it again, you know, have lost respect for that entire team. And so we're just going to keep that there. We're gonna put Wax blockchain in the C tier, in basically just going nowhere. So this is an interesting chain because I think it's a fork of EOS, and it was basically the home of crypto gaming for a while. Like 2020 and 2021, lots of games were launching on Wax, and there were lots of players there. However, I really think that's changing. People are coming away from Wax. They're going to Solana, Polygon, Avalanche, Immutable X, those sorts of places. And so I'm not really seeing too many games actually coming out on Wax anymore. And I think that this is a chain that is slowly going to die over time, and the gamers are going to migrate over to other chains. Stella, I mean, yeah, basically a scam. So they do have smart contracts. I've seen a couple of dexes being built on this chain. But basically, this is a fork of XRP. So I think Jed McCaleb, I might be wrong on that name, but he left XRP and then formed, you know, Stella, and then made his own coin, and basically like it's done nothing basically since it's been out. Now they do have a little bit of DeFi, but why would you ever want to use this? I think the only reason why you'd ever want to use the Stella network is that to transfer value from different centralized exchanges. Like I think at one point, like the blockchain just stopped producing blocks for like a while, but no one cared because no one used it, which I thought was hilarious. And now we're going to put Tezos in the decent tier. So this is a chain that's been around for a while. Again, not really achieved a lot. However, they do have a thriving, you know, NFT ecosystem. I mean, I say thriving, I mean, they have a lot of legitimate artists who want to go and build there. If you wanted to sell a 10k profile pic drop on Tezos, you'd have a very hard time selling out. It would be like setting up an art gallery in a desert. You might get some occasional people come by and see it, but there aren't going to be a lot. However, they have, you know, a few gaming partnerships coming along as well, and I'm very bullish on that. They're also pivoting towards the same roadmap that Ethereum has for scaling as well, and so this could be quite interesting in the future. There just aren't that many people using Tezos right now, and the price is like so terrible against ETH. It has been a losing investment for a lot of the time, but like the NFT community is cool. Gaming might come to fruition as well, and so we're just going to put it on the decent chain for right now. If they get the scaling sorted out, and then it could easily be an A-tier chain. And then we're going to go on to Zilliqa. So I put this on going nowhere. I mean, maybe there should be a one between B and C. Actually, you know what? Let's just put this on top of this, the C tier. So Zilliqa, it's a chain that's been around since like 2018 and has achieved nothing. I actually don't understand how these guys work for 4 years and really do nothing. They have now just pivoted towards gaming, and they're going to release like an FPS. That's going to be their flagship game, and they've wanted to attract a lot of influencers as well. This might work out well. I'm not 100% sure, and it might kickstart Zilliqa gaming, but I'm not super sort of enthusiastic about it, and so I'm going to keep it in C tier for now. I've also realized that I do not have Avalanche on this tier list. I think the image that I had was not compatible, and so it didn't show up, but I would put Avalanche on decent for right now. It would have been on good chain, but basically Avalanche has been very shady. If you guys want to look into it, there's some stuff with their lawyers who go around and sue basically all of the other blockchain foundations to try and find out trade secrets, as well as like all of their chat logs, that sort of thing, and it's very, very shady. And I really don't like that, and I see a lot of people turning away from building on Avalanche because of it. But they're quite cool. The Avalanche subnets are cool. Lots of gaming stuff coming to those particular Avalanche subnets. And so we are going to see an Avalanche gaming boom sometime in the future, within the next year. But I really just can't stand by that, and I can't put it on good chain because of that reason. So that was it for this tier list. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you'd move anything anywhere else, or if you think that I got anything wrong. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.